Hello and welcome to Beyond the Game on Idea Television. This show takes you beyond the pitch, the scores, and stats to champion integrity, inclusivity, and innovation in the world of sports, powered by cutting edge technology and groundbreaking research. I am Dearest Mba. Join me as I take you on a ride in the world of sports and innovation. And of course, do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television. We'll go on a break now. When we come back, I'll be introducing the topic for today. You don't want to miss it.
Across Africa, innovation is rewriting the future. From the skilled hands of artisans to the bold visions of entrepreneurs, creativity meets enterprise in groundbreaking ways. Welcome to Innovation, where we celebrate Africa's ingenuity.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Beyond the Game right here on Idea Television. A football dream. A footballer's dream, I must like to say, the journey to success. We often hear about the glitz and glamour and wealth that comes with being a successful football star. The flashy cars, global fame, and million-dollar contracts are what most people talk about. But what really gets talked is the journey, the struggles, the sacrifices, the resilience it takes, especially for those coming from African countries. Let's put a spotlight on Nigeria. In almost every Nigerian household, there's at least one child, boy or girl, who dreams of making it big. The ambition is real, the ambition is alive. But while many dreams, only a few makes it. That's why today we are diving into the story behind a footballer's dream. Not the fame at the end, but the path to getting there. Let's keep the conversation going. Follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television. Of course, who better to discuss today's topic than an ex-footballer and a football scout? He's none other than Amam Bezalel. Hello and welcome to Beyond the Game.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Good to have you on the show.
Yeah.
I must say, it's been a minute, so lovely to see you here.
Thank you so much for
All right.
the time and everything.
Okay. So let's start with you, Bezalel.
Yeah.
You pursued a career in football. And I'm sure it's something you had a passion for from your childhood days. And yes, obviously, you wanted to be the next studio coach or even better. So run us through the football dream.
Okay, just like you said, in in an average African setting, they
Yeah.
have one person who has this passion, one or two persons who have this passion to play
True.
football. In fact, there are some families you go to and you see that about 3, 4 persons know how to play football.
My family.
My family, my
Yeah.
dad played football. He
Okay.
played when he was young, but not to the professional level. I could remember he said they used to call him small fish. We know they fear big fish.
Oh.
So he played football, and I had cousins who also played football so well. In fact, I had a cousin who was supposed to travel to Europe for a scouting program, but because of I think that was when the monkeypox issue
Yeah.
came up, so they had to stop that deal from pulling through. And as I'm talking to you now, this guy is literally not doing anything. He's not doing anything. He started afresh to start learning handwork.
Okay.
And he did not go to school.
Mm.
So these are challenges. And I faced something similar, but I pursued school. I pursued school. Before I joined the university, I was playing normal street football. We go for match, we organize ourselves, we go for matches amongst our neighborhood. Sometimes we invite clubs, little clubs to come to play with us. And we could see we were doing so well then. People, I was a joy to watch amongst my friends.
Did you have any name like your friends would call you?
Okay, they used to call me Benzema then.
Benzema, right?
They used to call me Benzema.
Okay.
Growing up, they used to call me Bez or Benzema. In school, I was known for the name Benzema. Nobody even knew my real name because I was young and I represented my school in the Nuga Games.
Okay.
I represented my school in the West African University Games at UNN Suka back then. And I also represented my school in Kano 5 asides among universities, of which my school, Futo Federal University of Technology, were lifted as a that year. So I really had that dream to play football. I even played at Taye Football Academy.
Okay.
I was combining.
That's Taye Taiwo, the Nigerian legend?
No, Taye Football Academy is in Owerri.
Okay.
The likes of Kelechi Iheanacho played there.
All right.
Chidebere Nwakali played there. There's this young guy, this boy in Getafe now. Currently, their current striker. I'm trying to. Uche is his name also.
Okay.
He also played there. So, some of these guys were not opportune, or they chose football without studying. And I could recall, I could picture the amount of players we had. We had under 13, we had under 15, we had under 17, under Taye Football Academy.
Okay.
And under each of these sections, we had about 50 players under 13, under 15, under 17. And I could recall, with my mind, I can count how many persons that have made it to professional football.
From the academy?
From the academy.
Okay. From
the academy. And it's even because the academy is one of the best and renowned academies in Imo State. As at then, and till now, they are still making waves. I also played with Campus FC, still in Owerri. So these were the two clubs that we are leading, or are still leading in Owerri. I didn't play long with Campus before I switched to So as at that time, I was combining school and football. I was studying. Towards evening, I would take transport to Owerri town to play with Taye Football Academy. And at the end of the training, I will come back. I will get to school tired. I would freshen up, try as much as possible to do what I have to do to go for lectures. the next day. So it was not easy. It was not easy. At some point in my 200 level, when I knew that some of these guys, there were opportunities for them to come to Abuja for under 17 trials.
Okay.
And
What year was that?
this was around this was between 2012 to 2017.
Okay.
So I saw them going. I couldn't go because I was not able to afford to leave my tests and exams. Some of those programs entered into vital periods and curriculum in the curriculum. So I wasn't able to come to go for trials. They will come to Abuja for under 17 trials, and they will come back. So, but the ones I could go for, I tried to go. The ones that I couldn't keep school aside and go for, I had to
So you
focus
made a
on
choice
school.
to focus on school other than...
So I tried as much as possible to combine the two. And then having been able to represent my school, because when I was representing the school on the West African University Games and Nuga Games,
Yeah.
I was one of the youngest in
the squad?
In the squad.
Okay.
I was one of the youngest. I was in 100 level, 200 level. And most of those I was playing with were in 40 and final.
All right, let me ask you, sorry. Do you think if you had sacrificed that exam and went for the trials, do you think the story would have been like a different thing for you?
I don't think. The probability, even in Europe,
Yeah.
even in UK, there's this statistics that it's less than 10% of those who venture into sports, into football, that make it professional in UK. You get? So not to talk of here where we lack the facilities, we lack the technical know-how. There are lots of things there are lots of setbacks.
Sure.
And over there are schools. I don't want to call it academy. There are schools where you start what you want. You start this football on time. It's not academy or club where
That's in Europe?
I'm talking of here.
Okay, Nigeria.
Here in Nigeria.
Okay.
I'm not here. You go to school and in the evening you go to play football. You have a club, you go and play, and you come back.
Okay.
You get?
Yeah.
The days you cannot make it, or your parents tell you you have a house chore to do or something, you wouldn't go for training.
True.
You get? So, but over there you start it on time. It is school there, not club, not football club or academy per se.
I had to see why on the show, the last episode, and he talked about a player like Lamine Yamal, who is currently, he's a big superstar of just everybody knows him, but he still attends school.
Yes.
So he's juggling between school and football, just in case, you never know. And it's always advisable for people pushing a football career to also have education so that just, But you talked about challenges now. It's challenging for African footballers to reach the highest levels due to a combination of factors, including limited scouting opportunities, inadequate infrastructure, and a lack of investment in youth development. These challenges are further compounded by issues like inadequate training facilities, poor coaching, and lack of professional management within the African football landscape. Now, the first challenge, limited scouting. You talked about Taya Academy and players like Ihanacho, Nwakali. These are big names that we know representing the Nigerian Super Eagles. And I remember when I first heard of Kelechi Ihanacho. That was during the Under-17 World Cup in, what year? I think 2015, if I'm not mistaken, or 2013, thereabouts.
Yes.
Between that time. And I remember watching the Under-17 World Cup. I saw how we dominated. There were so many players then. But let's talk about Ihanacho. After the Under-17 World Cup, he scored so many goals. Obviously, Nigeria went on to win that particular tournament.
Yes.
And he got, a call from Manchester City. That was how he signed for Manchester City. Now, just like we talked about the fact that there are millions of people out there that is pursuing this career also, regardless of your background, upbringing, and all. But not everybody gets to pursue that dream professionally, right? And luckily for a player like Kelechi Iheanacho, although he came from a very, poor background as well, coming from Thai Academy, where you also, played football, and he ended up playing for the under-17. And I want to believe the under-17 World Cup changed his life.
Yes.
Because I remember he was one player, even my dad will always talk about Iheanacho. He scored so many goals that eventually helped Nigeria win the under-17 World Cup. But this is one out of how many? Out of thousands, out of millions of people with dreams.
And I would tell you that Kele was not the best.
Obviously.
In the squad.
Now, that's one thing we tend to hear.
He was very good. He was very good. I wouldn't... Kele was too good. But I could count a handful of players who were better than him in the squad.
Mm-hmm.
You get... But now, the favor, opportunity, God, and then definitely he was able, the time came, he showed himself. I could remember during that under.
So is it a case of being at the right place at the right time, and everything just aligning for you?
For him,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First of all, he's good.
Okay.
First of all, at that point, he when the opportunity came, there's nothing like being prepared when the opportunity comes.
Okay.
So, and then the club we are playing, Thai Football Academy, was also renowned. And then Kele had also previously been involved with the national team. In a way, there has the name.
Okay.
He has been visible.
So he was already a big name.
So to an extent, he was really an upcoming. They knew there was this feeling that this guy is going to be great. You get? So it was, and then God, you wouldn't remove the God factor. He was favored because there are people who have the money but are not able to scale through.
Yeah.
So he was I believe there were other controversies, other things that would have hindered, but he was good, and he was able to have those who were able to pick out for him.
All right.
And then,
so would you say, so let's believe it's grace that found him, because there are times where you hear, like I once spoke to a friend of mine, George. He plays in an academy, and he said Awaziem was also in that academy, but Awaziem is currently playing for the Super Eagles. Now, he also said the same thing, that Awaziem obviously wasn't the best player at the time, but then grace found him. So I want to believe is either we say, for those who eventually go pro, it's either grace that found them, or where you believe that there's something that goes on behind the scene, or maybe there's favoritism, or I want to favor this player because I like him more than others. Do you see that happening because you played, in an academy? Do you think that happens?
Of course, there is always this favoritism and controversies around whom to represent, who is better, who to drop. There's always this thing, someone bringing his own person,
all right,
and saying this is the person that is what or is fit to be here.
Okay.
So, and then at the end of the day, it now boils down to the coach of that particular period, the coach and those ahead of him, to now sit down and say, this is the squad after proper examination. This is the squad that is fit for this
pattern of football or
tournament,
style. Okay.
or that are ready. A lot of them still drop as a result of at the result of this MRS. You get, so at the end of the day, the favoritism, and also
nepotism. Would you also say nepotism?
Yes, nepotism.
Okay.
And there are players who are too good that you still have to take them along. So
Thank you.
It doesn't look like.
Now, speaking of a player that is too good, JJ Kocha, obviously. I saw a documentary on JJ Kocha, and they said he was too good, they named him twice. JJ, he was that good. And, JJ started his career is one that I admire a lot. He might not have won a major trophy, but then again, you can't talk about a dribbler, you know, and not call JJ coach.
Sure.
As much as you would like to call the likes of Ronaldinho, you know, some Brazilian lads, but JJ Okocha is one player that stands out. And you talked about if you're a player and you're that good. So I want to believe for some player, they are just that good. And I remember before the show started, we were having a conversation. I asked you, do you think, okay, let me put it this way. Is it a case of some people, I feel like they are born with a gift. So coming into this world, they're already, like, it's a thing. It is like God that's put it inside of them.
Okay.
Players like Lionel Messi. While some, for me, the way I see it, so I want you to clear me on that, right?
Okay.
Why for some, I feel like they were put into it. Maybe, okay, my daddy, Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo. I am Cristiano Ronaldo, right? My son, Chris Jr., obviously will follow that lane because I play so well. Do you think that's how football is?
Not always that way.
Okay.
In this part of Africa or in Nigeria, it's so clear that Nigeria is a footballing nation.
Africa, let's say Africa as a
Because
whole.
there is this statistics that after Brazil,
Okay.
Nigeria has the highest number of players representing them all over the world. After Brazil, I'm not talking of in the country. I'm not talking of Nigerians who are playing football all over the world.
For other nations.
For other not for other nations, but
Okay.
in different clubs in other nations. Nigeria has a lot of, after Brazil, Nigeria comes second.
Oh, wow.
So it will show you
That's
that
a good one.
naturally it's like having a natural resource, like having crude oil.
Yeah.
This country being known for crude oil, this country being known for gold. We are known for football. We play football. An average youth in Nigeria loves football. An average youth growing up wants to identify themselves with playing football. You get? So
Yeah.
that is it first. Then also the development has a lot of role to play. Development. A lot of us, many people learnt it their own way. If naturally we are producing all these legs without so much resources around us, so just imagine if we take it so well like Brazil does,
Yeah.
we will be able to carry the World Cup as soon as possible.
No,
Looking
thank
at-
you. You just said something interesting, right? Sorry to cut you short. Now, speaking of the World Cup, why is it that in the under-17 level, we do so well? We are winning the World Cup. But when it comes to the senior team, we've not won the World Cup. The best result we've gotten in the World Cup is the round of 16, if I'm not mistaken. Why is this so?
Okay, I would say some of these players, some of them give their best outside. They give their best in the club, and when they come down here, it looks like they are trying to fight against having injuries, getting injured, and nobody. There are some injuries you get over there. The first aid, the immediate help will go a long way. But I know they are always very careful
Playing for Nigeria.
coming down here and giving their best and going back injured.
Okay.
Some of the clubs they play, some of the elite clubs they play for, if you get injured before you come back to the first team,
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So
They must have replaced you or
They must have
something.
replaced you or something.
Okay.
See, watch Victor Boniface, for example. Since
Yeah.
he had this previous knee injury he had or so, he has not been able to play frequently as he used to play for Bayer Leverkusen. There might be other factors, but then injury is one factor. Then another major factor is we've always lacked these good specialists as coaches. We've always had coaches who are not strong enough to take decisions themselves, who lack that knowledge I think while we invest on these legs, we also should invest on the head, sending coaches abroad to learn
A very
lot,
important
to learn
aspect.
and
Yeah.
get experienced. You get, some of these coaches fight against low self-esteem. They've not been exposed. They've not coached on very big platforms. And so now when these guys who have played Chelsea, Man U come into the team to organize them, to talk to them, that low self-esteem sometimes step come down. And then these players will sometimes they look down on the coaches.
Yes.
They feel, what do you have to offer me? What will this one tell me that I've not seen?
I mean, I've
But
worked
now
with Jose Mourinho. I've worked with the
but
bigger coaches.
when you have a Nigerian coach who have coached Villarreal, who had been an assistant coach in Chelsea, who has worked with Bayern Munich, come down to coach his country.
Yeah.
He's not looking at anybody's face. There's no favoritism. You get, if you merit it, you play. And these players will respect that coach.
True.
He will come to you, talk to you, he'll come to your face and tell you, I don't need you, or you're not playing well, or remove you when you're supposed to be removed, or even when it's time to call them, invite them for international opportunities, or for Nations Cup and all the rest. They will be able to get the right people, come down without compromise.
And do you think that's why we didn't win the AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire in last year? Because we had Jose Peseiro, and he's, obviously friends with Jose Mourinho, and I'm sure he has seen a lot in the footballing world. So why do you think it didn't work out, regardless of having an international coach?
Jose Peseiro, if you look at his record, I don't think he has really. I think he has previously coached one or two African countries.
Okay.
And he had not. The records are not there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't think of any
big club he has
or trophies he had carried. I think it's good we also look at those who have records. You get those who are in line with the current trend of football. You get those.
Yeah.
There are lots of enlightened players now that you could look at Alonso, the likes of Alonso, what he's doing in Bayer Leverkusen. Look at Fabregas. There are lots of them who have retired now that we can actually bring in, and they would bring that elite knowledge of what it takes to play football.
But I think insatiable people. You bring a foreign coach, they are saying, "Oh, we want a local coach." You bring a local coach, it's still the same problem. But that aside, now when we talk about players that that didn't really go pro, even having that dream, we still have players who made it. And earlier you talked about the fact that yes, there's the God factor, there's the luck factor, and all. But I still want to believe that talent also can, differentiate you among your peers, because there are players that are just that good.
Sure.
They are that good. I mean, I watched Lionel Messi's son, Thiago. I don't know if it's Thiago Mateo, one of his sons, yes. And he plays for the Inter Miami. Was it under 10? I mean, under 5 or under 6 division? Yeah. And there was a particular game he scored. I think was it 20 goals, or I don't know. It was trending at the time, and people were like, now Lion, not the born goat." So you can just tell that it's not even about my father being Lionel Messi. It's in them. I think football is something that just was instilled in them. So I feel like for some players that made it big time, even without all the struggle, even coming from Africa, I think the talent just differentiates them from others.
Definitely. I could use Kele as an example.
Okay.
When they were recruited, when they were listed to go for the World Cup, I think that should be 2014, 2015.
Yeah, thereabout, yeah.
So I called my dad. I told my dad that there is a boy, there is one of
your teammates?
One of my club mates,
okay,
that that he should watch that guy. That I'm so sure Kelechi would, that he's going to wear number 10 jersey. And we all banked on him. We knew he was going to.
He had it.
He had it. Just like you're saying, we knew the talent was there. I told my dad, and he represented. He was the best player.
Yes, he was.
He was the best player. The Nwakali Junior, the one that they also carried, I think, the under-20 World Cup or so. I could remember back then in school, we also played matches with them while they were preparing for that tournament.
Yeah.
You could tell that these guys are good. You get, but I sometimes what now affects, I don't know what now goes wrong sometimes when they now get signed up. I don't know if it's the Nigerian mentality of when you see, when you meet little success, you now relax. You get, when you meet little success, you relax. Or when you get there, the coaches now play you probably outside your natural position, the positions you grew up playing with.
I mean, I watched Kelechi when he went to Manchester City. I noticed he struggled at some point because, coming from, playing for Nigerian and transitioning to moving to Manchester City, a big club like Man City that had literally everything working for them at the time. And I noticed he wasn't being played as much as he wanted. He was always sitting on the bench. And when he comes on, he's coming to play just maybe 20 minutes. And it really affected his game. Do you think that's what players from Africa struggle when they go to Europe?
Okay, in Kelechi's case, I think what majorly affected Kele was playing him out of position. In the World Cup, Kelechi played as a supporting striker.
Okay.
He played as a supporting striker. And at some point, he even deviated as a right winger. So these were the major positions he was playing. Number 10 position, and then from the wings. So, but he came to Man City, and Guardiola felt this guy should play 9. He was playing as a striker in England, and he's not so physically strong to play that role. I feel that was majorly what. If you look at Mikel as an example, Mikel during the World Cup, under 17 also, World Cup, Mikel played number 10. Mikel played number 10 role. He was everywhere. He was a playmaker in the World Cup.
Yeah.
But he came to EPL, and he had to sit. He was now playing as a DM, defensive midfielder, under Mourinho. In fact, he was a success because he was able to adjust. It wasn't easy for Kele to adjust. Mikel was able to adjust, and Mikel played under a lot of leaders. He played under a setup that was able to help him adjust so quickly, and he's brilliant enough. You get, a few days ago, I dropped a tweet. I was like, someone dropped a video clip about Mikel's performance during the 17 World Cup, the 20 World Cup.
Yeah.
And I quoted that statement that if I wished to see Mikel develop based on the position he played in the under 17 up until the club levels, I feel he would have seen a different Mikel altogether.
All right. So what I'm understanding is most of these Nigerian players that might not have really given their all, going abroad, is born out of the fact that those coaches played them out of their natural wing, right?
I guess, and I use these two guys as an example.
Okay, so I have a question. So I had a conversation with someone who has also tried, who played football, he's still pursuing the football dream, and he talked about how he has even traveled, and he said that making it natural in football is harder than we think.
Football.
It's not just having talent. When I get there, that you might still get there and play for 3rd divisions, 4th divisions, especially coming from Africa. Why is it so?
Football is not easy, my sister. I will tell you the gospel truth. Anybody that tells you football is easy, don't mind the way Messi and Ronaldo is making it look like it's easy. Football is not easy. Get there. When you get there and you see these guys, these whites play, whites can play, forget. When you see these people play, you would know that Football is noisy, and they play so well because they started on time. So you could see them play like a unit. You will see that some of the reasons why Africans are doing well is because of their strength,
And I think that's why
their
they want us,
stature,
our strength.
their
Yeah.
body build. And if you observe, if you're observant in modern football now, you see that there are positions that black footballers hardly do well. They hardly do well.
Name one position. Number 9.
Number 9 position
Thank
is
you.
a very rare is a very rare
Yeah.
position where a black does well. Just a very few of them, a handful of them.
Didier Drogba
You get
did well in it.
he did well. You aside Didier Drogba, who else?
But then let's talk about Drogba a little bit. I read about his history and bio, and I realized that, you know, at a young age, he was 5 years old. His father sent him to Europe, to France, to stay with his uncle, you know, and his uncle was already playing football in the French league. He came back at some point because he was sick. Then he went back. So for Didier Drogba, he from a young age, because he already had an uncle playing there, and go there, he, you know, he joined the children team and he grew, you know. And I want to believe that Drogba is one of the best players that has ever come out of Africa. I don't know if everybody agree with me, but this is my opinion.
Sure. And the likes of Samuel Eto'o.
Samuel
And you can see
Eto'o,
Osimhen.
George Weah, and
Yes,
and,
you can see Osimhen following that same path.
yeah.
And on the part of Osimhen has a very strong mentality. He has a winning mentality.
And I love that about him.
He wants to succeed. He wants to succeed. He has the talent. He has that. He does
The zeal.
The zeal. You know.
Yeah.
You know, mentality has a lot to do in football. Africans have this mindset of when they get there, especially for those who did not start football there, using their philosophies and all the rest. Those that were opportuned to go through maybe the under-17, or they were opportuned to go through a program or an agent. It's always very difficult for them to settle. But Osimhen had the mentality, his mentality really helped him to. He always wants to win. You see Osimhen lose a match and he's not happy.
Speaking of Victor Osimhen, he came out from Napoli team. He had won the Italian Serie A. He might have lost the Italian best player to Kvaratskhelia, obviously, maybe because he's black. I don't want to believe that. But then he moved from Napoli. He's currently playing straight with Galatasaray. But one thing I love about Osimhen is consistency. I thought after how brilliant a season he had with with Napoli, the year they won the Italian Serie A, I thought moving forward he might just relent, but he didn't. But one thing about Osimhen that I enjoy the most and I love watching is the fact, and I think Osimhen is a worthy captain for the Super Eagles. I watched the World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda and Zimbabwe. Osimhen scored all the goals. He scored 2 against Rwanda that gave us hope. And against Zimbabwe, I noticed he was the only one fighting. And immediately he scored that goal, Nigeria relented. And I'm still gutted about that, about us conceding that goal, because now we dropped 2 points. But what intrigued me the most was how Osimhen was shouting at his players. I noticed there was a clip where Boniface tried to touch him, talk to him, having it. And that's the, I want every Nigerian player to have, for us to even make it to the World Cup. And I'm just saying this in case, maybe Alex Iwobi and others will get to watch this. My point is, when you wear the Nigerian jersey, you should fight. You shouldn't wear it, I don't want to get injured, so when I go back to Fulham, don't. But no, wear it at the back of your mind. You should have it that I am representing my nation. There's no bigger honor, in my opinion, as a footballer, than representing your nation in the World Cup.
Sure.
That's the biggest honor of your life. Sure. And not every player gets to experience it. But as a player, if you have an opportunity to even dream of getting to the World Cup, I feel like every Super Eagles player should be fighting like Osimhen. And that's one thing about him I love the most. But going forward, still with the footballer's dream, kudos to those players like Osimhen and the likes that made it, coming from a background, because I know Osimhen comes from a very poor background, and he still made it. Not everybody gets to to enjoy the kind of luck and luxury the likes of Alexi Wopi that was born abroad,
Yes.
or Olaino,
Yes.
you know, or even players like
Lukman.
Lookman. And there are still players that are still so lucky. My daddy, okay, let's talk about European players and all, right? Yes. Let's talk about the Maldinis. It's like a thing that passes down from generations. Cesare Maldini, Paulo Maldini, now there's Daniel Maldini, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like my daddy played, my son will play, you know, it's a thing.
The
And you,
Thuram,
yes,
the Thuram family,
thank
the
you.
Simeone family.
Even Beckham, like Beckham's son, is it Romeo, is currently playing football. And it's, I mean, some people get it easy, you know. And I also hear stories of, okay, look at Wizkid, the Nigerian artist.
Okay.
His son is signed to Rhys James's father. I think he has an academy, the academy that brought up the likes of Rhys James, Lauren James. So he registered his son. Now, not every Nigerian child gets that luxury. So do you think for some people, that luxury that comes with, oh, my dad has money, he'll put me in an academy, does that make you, you know, would that automatically make that player successful? Because I don't think everybody that goes to that academy makes it, regardless of your pedigree. Do you think going there is like a step in the right direction for a player?
Yes, it is. It's definitely a step in the right direction. A lot of those who were unable to make it couldn't make it because of funds. Okay, there are lots who would have definitely made it, but because there was nobody to put on the right space where they would explore or show what they have, they've not been able to meet up. You get so. That young lad is on the right direction. You can also talk about P Square. I think P Square is also
Peter
towing,
Okoye.
yes,
Yeah.
is also towing that same route. So if you can provide your child with that
Luxury,
that basic of traveling there and then going through a school where they are being worked on both mentally and physically, and being taught what football is all about, it's a long way. The probability, the opportunity becomes higher.
All right. Well, while we, you know, dive deeper into this conversation, and we're also talking about the challenges that comes with not just being a passionate, you know, someone that has the passion to play football. There's so many challenges that comes with it, especially when you come from a family that, you know, a low-income family, as I would like to put it. But we've said a lot, but we'll go on a break now. When we come back, we'll be looking at the way forward for those who didn't really end up in the football career professionally.
Across Africa, innovation is rewriting the future. From the skilled hands of artisans to the bold visions of entrepreneurs, creativity meets enterprise in groundbreaking ways. Welcome to Innovation, where we celebrate Africa's ingenuity.
What if I told you that innovation isn't just in labs or boardrooms? It's in the hands of everyday people. We travel across Nigeria and beyond to meet the visionaries, the inventors, the dreamers, and the risk takers redefining our future.
We take you inside the workshops, garages, open-air markets, the studios, and the labs, where ideas turn into great enterprises.
Innovation is everywhere, and we are telling the stories.
Join me on InnoVenture, only on Idea TV.
Welcome back to the show. An interesting conversation we've been having with my amazing guest, Bezalel. So earlier you talked about you while pursuing football. You talked about the fact that you also pursued education, and I'm guessing education is working for you right now. Right.
Sure.
Now, who are also doing that.
Okay, I would still advise you pursue education in as much as you try to find a balance around it while you're playing. Pursue education. If you're unable to, if you don't have what it takes to pursue education, get a handwork. Combine the two. You could be doing your hard work and towards the evening, or if you have a match, you go and train. Because we know the society we are in,
Yeah.
and the probability is very, very low. You get, after school, after I graduated, I played with the NYSC national team,
Okay.
and then I served with NFF, Nigerian Football Federation. So if I didn't go to school, I wouldn't have been able to have what it takes to serve with NFF. Under NFF, I've been able to do some courses on sports, of which subsequently I've used them to apply to schools outside Nigeria, who recognized. I studied computer science, and I am getting a master's program in sports with the experiences I have with where I've worked in sports sectors. So it shows you what education can also offer you. So if at the end of the day, I don't practice it, I don't play, I can coach, I can scout, I can be an administrator, football administration, could be football, go into management. There are lots of things education could offer you if football doesn't go well. So it's always advisable you try to balance. If you're in a situation, I'm talking to someone might be listening to me now. If you're in a situation where you're already in school and you feel school is not giving you the time to pursue your football well, bro, stick to your school. Keep studying, round up, and keep playing your football as much as you can. You would, because we are talking about probability here. The probability is too low. The probability is too low. So try and round up with your school. You might be opportune to even leave and continue school. That school you did here will lead you to another higher school over there.
Sure.
And then you now showcase yourself there, and you'll be picked. And if you will regret it. Achieve football and you didn't achieve school.
All right, our time is already fast spent. Just like Bezalel said, education is very important because I've seen ex-footballers, even Cesc Fabregas at some point pursuing a degree. So many European footballers. So if you're, there's so many. So if you're emulating one or two things from them, maybe their skills, also look at their lives outside the pitch of play, and pursue a career or just get a degree and that's it. But do you sometimes think about it? Maybe what if? Do you miss playing football? Yeah, do you think about it?
Definitely. I miss playing football, and then subsequently, my leisure time, I try as much as possible to keep fit.
Do street football, right? Very good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, an amazing time we've had on the show, Bezalel.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I have a trivia question before we end the show. JJ Okocha, Taribo West, Kano Nwankwo, Mikel Obi, who's the greatest footballer Nigeria's had between these players?
When it comes to
okay, just pick one.
Okay,
if you're forced to pick one, who would you want right now playing for the Super Eagles?
That's you're putting me on the spot. I'll go for Kano Nwankwo.
Kano Nwankwo. You want to tell us why quickly?
Because of some of the iconic iconic goals and situations we could remember he has brought us out from. When it comes to raw talent, maybe I'll go for JJ Okocha.
Okay.
Or when it comes to achievements, I'll go for Kano Nwankwo or Mikel Obi.
All right, thank you, Bezalel. I think I'll put this question out on our socials. Who's the best player Nigeria has ever had? I also lean towards Kano Nwankwo, and I will just tell you one reason. I remember that invincible year with Arsenal where Kano Nwankwo scored a hat-trick that helped Arsenal maintain their unbeaten career. Anyways, that's the much we can take on the show today. I hope you enjoyed this episode because I did enjoy my time with you, Bezalel. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you
If
very much.
you have any comments or you have anything to say or you relate with what we did today, what we talked about today, do not forget to message us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television. I am Dearest Mba. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.